Yeah, dude. I don't know. That would, if you were in jail for 20 years, I guess you probably don't want to turn gay because then you're going to come out and be like, oh no.
Well, hang on, Taylor. You're really in for 20 years. And the prettiest boy in the whole prison is giving you the wink because he used to listen to your Call of Duty commentaries 15 years ago. and he's just like, man, I'd love to hook up with you, Taylor. And he gives you that wink. You're not going to take him under your wing, look after him?
I don't. Well, how cute is he?
Very cute. Very cute. Remember in Oz when they dressed him up?
The prettiest boy, exactly. Yeah, I don't think so. Because even in Oz, they tried to pretty up some of those inmates, and they were all very clearly men.
Yeah, it didn't take.
Powerful shoulders.
It didn't take.
Defined, big hands, long forearms. They weren't fooling me on Oz. Not for a second.
You could tell the difference.
Maybe one of them once. But no more.
Do you think he would be that Chad who seduces the ugly female prison guard and gets her to like sneak him into the trunk of her Taurus one afternoon?
Oh, dude, that is a believable part of Oz. Is that disgusting ogre woman who would be getting no dick thrown at her in the outside was getting all sorts of action on the inside, and that shows that even the prison gay guys, when real pussies there, are like, oh, come on, let's get real. Like, I'll have this horrible vagina.
Escape from Dannemore. That ugly bitch was fucking the two guys.
Yeah.
Both reaming her out until they to crawl out of the
and she was
the woods.
She was upsetting to look at. She was so fucking ugly. You can imagine how that whole thing went down. I wonder if the guys started with that angle. Like the dude was like, trust me, I'm the king of cock. I'm gonna give this bitch the look. We're gonna be out of here in 3 months, dude. Trust me. Let me watch this. And he's like, hey, and is that how it went down, or was there just some weird connection that happened, and then he started using that to sort of like move the other way? Because if he started off trying to
wait, is this the super ugly person?
Well, you're showing two. You're showing her, and then the Patricia Arquette or Rosanna Arquette who played her, but that's the actual woman.
Yeah, that's
the real woman there. Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, I was like, that woman's not that ugly, but no, this woman, she's hard to look at. If I'm her, I work at a prison too.
Yeah.
What happened was they figured out how to escape through the pipes first. Well, first they figured out how to remove the toilet and get behind there, but then they had the pipes, and then they're like, okay, the pipes are great and everything, but we have to go somewhere when we get out.
Yeah.
And that's when they seduced her. I'm just kind of guessing right now, by the way.
Yeah.
But okay, now we have, and then we convince her she's going to kill her husband and pick us up. And then they got out, and she was like, yeah, I changed my mind. So now they're just running through the woods for months. I think it was 2 months.
It's a long time to be running through the woods.
I'm always impressed when they're able to like really just kind of disappear. That maybe Robert Rudolph guy, the Olympic Centennial bomber who hid up in the mountains of North Carolina forever. They caught him in a dumpster like 2-3 years later. He had disappeared off the face of the earth, and they dug him up. But I remember there was
impressive, man.
There was a murder that went like he had killed his girlfriend and then dumped his car in our town. They found the car, and they're like, well, he can't be far. And my dad joined a posse.
Nice.
They all fanned out in the woods with rifles and shotguns and started beating the bushes and walking toward the highway because he has to be out here. And later on, Dad was like, that was pretty fun.
Did they ever find the guy? Anyone find him? Like
the cops eventually found him. My dad was not part of the apprehension.
What state is this?
Georgia. There was a guy who killed someone in South Carolina, and he fled like down 85 South and stopped in a little town in Northeast Georgia.
Well, the weird thing about the Dannemore guys is like, what do you think is going to happen? Like, I heard they were heading for the Canadian border. Okay. So you get into Canada. Now what? Do you work at a gas station? Like, do you get plastic surgery? What's your long-term plan here, gentlemen?
I don't think they're good at long-term planning. They were in prison. Yeah.
Well, so one of them just drank himself to death and like got lost and died. But the other one, he sort of committed suicide by cop because he shot at an RV, and obviously that's gonna like get 911 called.
Yeah.
And that's when, what are they called? BorTech showed up, which is like the A team of America, and they tracked him down and smoked him out.
I would expand upon that. Like, remember the Lorena Bobbitt story? The lady whose husband was forced himself on her, and then she cut his dick off in his sleep, and then drove away with it. I don't know how. That was the deal. Yeah, and then she drove away with the penis and threw it out the car window. And I was just thinking, like, what if like the movie was about you snuck in and like drugged the guy and took his penis off surgically, and then when he woke up, like, if you want your penis back, you've got to go rob this bank. I want to see that movie.
But don't you have a matter of
anything for
your dick like doesn't work? Well, isn't there a very short time where you can get the dick back on? Like with
it's on ice. It's on ice.
Yeah. Some cop found the dick. So she threw it into a field. This cop drove around later and he's like, I got a hunch. And he walked up, found it.
Yep.
And then they brought it to the hospital. He did a porn after. He made a little mushroom kind of a dick. It's nothing to write home about, but it's
better than nothing.
And you know what she got for that? 30 days in a loony bin.
Yeah.
That's not long enough. She seems like pretty loony.
It's attempted murder.
Her testimony was compelling.
Well, it is attempted murder, yeah.
Well, and he was a rapist. But it's not self-defense. There's
no evidence. She claims she was in an abusive relationship, and they went, I believe you.
So the person that abused him physically says he was abusive.
Yeah.
Okay.
But Gavin's making a good point here. The fact that cop found that cock on the side of the road. Imagine, Taylor, if I told you, hey, Taylor, I threw an Oscar Mayer wiener out my window while I was driving down the road. I was about 1.5 miles past the quick stop. If you went and looked for that weenie, the ants would have eaten it days ago. Like some sort of wildlife would have carried it off. You would never find my dick, especially not mine.
Find your ant-covered penis and bring it back to you.
I can throw your dick. I could throw your dick in the room behind you and send you on a scavenger hunt that would leave you scratching your head.
If you threw my dick out a window, the cops would be able to find it because all the neighbors would be calling about this escaped Burmese python that in a field nearby, and they're worried about it consuming 300-pound men.
It's bloody and it has sores all over it. That would be horrible. What's the worst way to wake up? Dickless.
That's it.
Yeah.
Sad. Oh, I got one. I heard about a wife. She found out that her husband had been the stepchildren, and so she woke him up with a boiling bucket of sugar water.
Yeah, so like napalm.
She poured molten sugar water on him in the bed while he was asleep. It's something they do in prison. I can't remember what they call it.
Did he die?
I don't know if he died, but he wished he had afterwards because it's going to stick and do awful things. In prison, they microwave jams and jellies, and they throw that in your face.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
they get
hardcore.
Really. They shouldn't give you guys microwaves.
Hot. We need microwaves. We're human fucking beings, dude. That microwave was a godsend.
You killed him. There we go. So mission accomplished.
She got a kill out of it. I wonder what she got. Hopefully at least 60 days.
Yeah, 60 days of for being naughty. But if that guy was her kids, I think that's all fair.
Oh, is that what he did?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry. I must have missed a key.
Yeah, so that's it seems like she rid the world of a problem there. Maybe they should give her key to the city.
There's a great interview.
Given her nothing.
There was a father who caught this guy, his son, and hit the interview with him. He's like, I started beating him viciously, and I didn't stop, even though he begged me to stop. And I decided I was going to take his life. And my son said, no, Poppy, don't kill him. And that's the only reason I didn't kill him on my floor. And he's on the news, like Channel 7, saying this shit. It was so good. The best.
What state was it? Do you know?
Viciously. And they show the pictures of the molester guy. He's just looks like a UFC post fighter. It's I don't remember what state. I just remember child molesting.
You know who I talk to sometimes? You know the case in the 80s where the dad was waiting at the airport for the molester?
Yeah.
Kung fu teacher.
Yes.
Who took the kid around the country to kung fu things and was blowing him on a regular basis. Mm-hmm. And the dad he's got a baseball hat on. It became a huge meme. And he's just like, just goes up, blows his head off.
Under his arm.
Yeah. He's like, why, Gary? Why?
Yeah, that's it. And you can tell that the news people were alerted to this. I mean, they probably told him too that the guy's going to be there at this time. And I just love how the courts and the jury were like, well, technically that's illegal, but you go out the back door.
I like it when that happens.
Yeah.
Like when a guy's kid is hurt and the dad takes justice into his own hands. It's not that uncommon for courts to just be like, yeah, justice was done here.
That's such an impressive shot. He brings his right arm up. The left hand's fake holding a phone at a pay booth, obviously. And the right arm comes up under the armpit. And so he fires point fire, no aiming, like this, but more under the armpit, and hits him in the side of the fucking head, moving 8 feet, 10 feet away. No other bystanders are injured. Like the angle is perfect. It's crazy that he hit that shot. I bet he's been practicing this shit all week.
He went to the fucking Kyle Rittenhouse school.
He went to the range.